Hello and welcome back to Good Ship. It's Jed, your trusted cruise ship travel guide, and today we need to talk about Carnival Australia. With some big changes coming to the Carnival Australia fleet in 2025, I thought it was the perfect time to make this video. A video I've been thinking about making for quite some time. But before we dive in, I want to start by saying Carnival does in fact hold a special place in my heart, as Carnival was the first cruise line I sailed on back in 2018. I'm also very aware for many cruisers out there that Carnival Cruise Line is still the perfect fun holiday, especially with their low fares and family friendly ships. Unfortunately though, this isn't going to be the theme of my video today, so proceed with caution. Now there's two major topics I want to talk about in this video. Firstly, I want to cover the P&O Carnival merger, and secondly, I'm going to be raising some concerns about Carnival Cruise Line Australia after my two most recent cruises on Carnival Splendor and Carnival Luminosa. I'll be keeping this video completely factual so you can get the best understanding of why I've made this video in the first place. So let's get to part 1, the merger. I just have to say straight up, what the duck? It's a well-known fact that Australia has always been a dumping ground for pre-loved ships. However, the P&O merger has really taken this to the next level. Carnival has tested the waters with many hybrid or semi-overhauled ships in the last 5 years. We've seen the likes of Carnival Luminosa and Carnival cruising Italian style in the United States. And I think these experimental concepts have worked so well for Carnival that they are about to try their most ambitious, half-baked idea yet. And with details finally released about what to expect on the Carnival adventure and encounter, you'd be quite correct in feeling disappointed. Not only are the ships now technically third-hand, they will most likely remain completely unchanged for the foreseeable future. The inconsistencies are totally mind-boggling as well, as the ex-P&O fleet will only offer complimentary pizza at certain times during the day, and you can also forget your free ice cream. And those yummy burgers found on all Carnival ships, well, they'll be nowhere to be seen as well. All of these strange inconsistencies create this weird ghost of P&O energy that is seemingly going to haunt Carnival Australia forever. Now, you may be thinking, oh, this is great, best of both worlds. But I would have preferred to see Carnival invest in a proper overhaul of the Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter. Because in my eyes, it's either Carnival or it isn't. And what has been created is an awkward reminder of a once iconic Australian brand. It will also forever be a reminder to Australian cruisers that we are not worthy of a proper investment in the market. And with the consolidation of the fleet, we're also seeing the loss of Pacific Explorer, which means fewer Australian itineraries. Cruises in Melbourne, Cairns, Perth, Adelaide and Auckland will all be worse off with the P&O Carnival merger. Any guests outside of Sydney and Brisbane will now face rising costs associated with flying interstate for their cruise holiday. Australia is such a beautiful country, and to concentrate itineraries and ships out of two ports seems like a missed opportunity to reinvigorate the Australian cruising market. History also tells us that mergers and consolidation can mean higher fares in the long run. In a nutshell, cruisers in the Pacific region will be faced with less choice and higher fares for a product that can be sometimes woeful at the very best. And speaking of woeful at best, this leads me to part 2 of my video for today. But before I get started, I really want to say again that I'm always grateful to spend time on a cruise, and it's always a good time when cruising with family and loved ones, no matter the cruise line. However, I do think it's really important to call out poor practices from cruise lines so that they can improve and hopefully make your holiday a better one in the future. During October and November 2024, I spent some time on Carnival Splendor and Carnival Luminosa. On both cruises, I witnessed firsthand the appalling lack of responsible service of alcohol. I'm fully aware people over the age of 18 are able and should be making responsible drink decisions. However, I find it unacceptable that alcohol is intensely upsold at every chance possible until it gets to the point of incapacitation. At that point, guests are cut off by security and treated like a pariah afterwards. What really bothers me is that there is no in-between area. You're either being lured into another cocktail or having security escort you to your room. This behaviour was particularly present on the short 3-night Carnival Splendor cruise, where hard and fast drinking culture is pushed by the cruise line. I witnessed firsthand on multiple occasions security staff escorting guests to their staterooms after being cut off, and even scarier at 3 AM, a large brawl just outside of my cabin. This was all in the same evening, and honestly, it started to get me thinking about whether I would come back to Carnival again. In the future, I would love to see the hard-working Carnival staff empowered and supported by their employer to assist them in creating a positive environment for everyone on board. I would love to see investment in this area in the very near future. Now, speaking of investments, I also think Carnival should address the quality of their main dining room and buffet options. I'm very aware that Carnival is a budget cruise line and therefore only has to fulfill a certain level of quality to pass. However, I don't even think it's at this point. Buffet options are served lukewarm at best and are generally just a rehash of what's offered in the main dining rooms. Quality is also average at best and just not appealing. Unfortunately, it's a similar story in the main dining room with inconsistent quality and temperatures. You'll also notice that Carnival is making a big effort to upsell in the main dining room. There's a variety of sushi and special offers that can be purchased or added. It's great to have these options, but it would be nice to see an improvement of the complimentary main meals first, instead of being assaulted with upcharges. There's only so many lukewarm dishes with missing components that you can handle. I understand Carnival is a budget cruise line, but at the very least they could serve the food hot, or hot adjacent even. I would say Carnival's saving grace is if you didn't like the buffet or main dining room, you could always snag some pizza or a burger, or perhaps a sandwich from the deli. But now moving into 2025, 50% of the Carnival fleet is going to be lacking those alternative options unless you want to pay for the privilege. Not only is it disappointing, but it's also confusing from a customer perspective. So what happens next? Unfortunately, it is very clear that these changes are revenue driven. The lack of investment in the Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter transformation is poor. The onboard product inconsistencies between the fleet are almost laughable, and the marketing for this has been diabolical at best. Not to mention P&O in its last months of operations is also facing media scrutiny after multiple PR nightmares. Whether it's the lackluster P&O merger or the declining onboard product with upcharges at every turn, the future of Carnival Australia certainly is a big slap in the face to the loyal cruisers in Australia and New Zealand. Now I know you might think I'm having a bit of a whinge. I'm making this video in the hope the next time that you cruise, your holiday will be that little bit better. You'll get more bang for your buck, and that the hard-working Carnival and P&O crew are given the support that they need and deserve. So let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the future of Carnival in Australia? Are you excited or feeling a little bit let down like me? Either way, I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for stopping by, good ship, and I look forward to seeing you again in the very near future.